It's a big pleasure to be here today. As Vilte and Virginia said to some of you, my journey started a few years ago in Kaunas, European Capital of Culture. At that time, I was a coordinator of one of the programs that we were implementing in Kaunas district. And I remember the meeting that we had with some of you a few years ago in this church, which at the time was still under the heavy reconstruction. And it's really pleasant that today we can meet you and greet you in fully renovated and operational church. So to this day, we use this church mostly as a cultural event place, and also the field and the square besides the church is, a massive gathering point for our communities. Today we are celebrating rivers, and as Vilte already mentioned, Kaunas European Capital of Culture 2022 is implementing a huge program in Kaunas district, and the whole program is based on communities. And we find that is the biggest value we are having while implementing European Capital of Culture project, because the biggest program is called Contemporary Neighborhoods, in which local communities participate with different artists. And the main goal is to prove that small communities and small villages and small neighborhoods are really prestige place to live. We are showing the identity of really small communities, and the topics in contemporary neighborhood varies from street rock festival to sustainability festival. We have contemporary circus festival, we have poetry festivals, we have community-based musical theater programs, and many more to come. What we did in the first place was a big load of workshops. Mostly workshops and workshops and workshops. And coming back to 2019, in the very beginning, the workshops for our community seemed like a place in which they will need to be working in order to create something. And in the very beginning, they said, we kind of don't want to work so much, we would like only to participate in some of the events. That was the goal of them. And in 2022, today, we can already say that the workshop is the main engine that turns the Kaunas district cultural life, because more and more different cultural initiatives are coming from the communities. And the biggest projects we are having are maintained not by cultural centers and not by municipality itself, but by communities. And we find it a really big value to us. And we try to cherish them and to help them in many ways we can. And coming back to rivers, as you already have seen, we have the biggest Lithuanian river Nemunas flowing near the Zapyšky's old church. And from 2019, we started thinking of how the river could connect different neighborhoods and different communities. And we decided and we thought of it as a goal to connect two shores of Kaunas district municipality by the river. And while walking today to this church, I saw a few ships already passing, and those ships are our municipality ships that local people can use as a transport for their bikes, or just they can use those ships to come to their works from one shore to another shore. And they have a pretty tight schedule, and they travel all day long during the hot season. Well, during the winter, Nemunas is not a friendly river for the ships. It freezes and ships cannot move. Then the biggest goal we tried to achieve was to bring cultural communities to the shores of the Nemunas, because mostly Nemunas was forgotten and only fishermen used the river as a thing where to put the boat and where to fish. But now, at the end of this day, I think we will go to the Nemuno 7, which is the big cultural ship of Kaunas district. And later on, I will explain everything about it, and you will see by yourselves how we implemented the cultural approach on the rivers. So thank you, everybody, for this opportunity to be here today. I think what I would like to say at the end is, let's celebrate rivers, and let's celebrate rivers together. Thank you so much, and have a nice day in Kaunas district.
I'm happy to be here on behalf of Interreg Europe Joint Secretariat. Of course, this is a program that is funding the project still in implementation. Of course, this is final event, and we're always happy to see that physical final events are happening, which was not the case in previous 2 years. I know that every project has struggled, your project has struggled as well, and we have been, as a program, quite flexible in allowing, let's say, different changes in the projects so that you can actually have physical exchanges again, like it happened before the COVID. So we're happy to see the projects are actually very active, and there's a number of final conferences currently in place, and there's going to be still more until the end of the year. Because, as you know, the current program is finalizing, and we already started a new program, and I'm going to talk about it as well. Yes. So, and I'm very happy to be here in Lithuania, because I'm originally from Latvia, which is, not that far from north. So it's always good to come back to Baltics after a very hot French summer this year. So, a brief overview about the program, about the state of the play of the program currently. Small focus on your project, particularly where your project fits in the program, and then I'm also going to give you an overview on a new program, the current program, because we are in a new planning period, and about the new first call that we have just launched and are in the phase of evaluation now. Okay, yes. So the state of the play of the program, and there are going to be some numbers. You're going to see how Interreg Europe has contributed already to regional development policies in Europe. And yes, the current program period 2014-2020, I will just look here. And we had 4 calls, a lot, more than we thought that we were going to do. And an additional COVID-focused fifth call, you could say, as well. And in total, more than 300 million euros were invested in the program, in the projects, and in policy learning. And you see, yes, you're one of 258 projects currently being implemented, finalized already in the current program. And yes, these are the key numbers of the current program. And achievements, yes. More than 5,000 good practices across all projects. And I know Star Cities has been also very active in defining and finding new good practices in your sphere of activity. And yes, more than 1,000 action plans. And I know that some projects have struggled with action plans, and also, I guess, for you it was not so easy process on defining the action plans. And as you might probably know, and I'm going to talk a little bit more, in the new programming period, we are getting rid of action plans as such, and they are going to be only exclusive for those who are not achieving policy change in the first phase. So there are going to be some changes. And yes, more than 70,000 people has increased capacity. And this is a very important slide that we always want to stress as a program, that the investments done by Interreg Europe actually have huge leverage effect. So basically, it's almost 1 to 5. So €1 invested by the program has affected €5 changed regarding the policy changes. So the Interreg Europe is about a policy change. It's about changing good practices, learning from each other, improving your regional development policies. And when you actually report those changes, we ask you to say, okay, what is the amount of funding you have actually influenced? New calls launched, new projects started, changes in the management of programs, etc., ERDF and other policies. So these are really real figures, these are tangible numbers, so you can see that Interreg Europe has, and your projects in total have actually contributed to the massive policy change and massive improvements also in terms of financial changes in Europe. And okay. And briefly then switching over to Star Cities, and I will not talk much about the project because you're going to present yourselves, and I'm also eager to hear about the newest developments because, again, it's one thing to learn the progress reports, and also it's different when you can actually hear from real people what's happening on the ground and see the changes. And also, as the previous speaker said, I understand that 3 years ago it was a different place here, and there's a lot of changes, and hopefully also has been facilitated by the program and the project as well. So yes, current program, the one which is finishing now. We had these priorities, and Start Cities is one of the projects in the priority environmental and resource efficiency. So 67 projects in total. So this was, competition for the Start Cities basically. And yes, these are all there's a map of all the projects in the specific sub-priority of cultural and heritage, natural and cultural heritage. So 36 projects. These are the closest ones, also working in the similar topics that Start Cities is covering. And you can see it's quite a good coverage with, of course, some blank spots in Europe, but it's basically partners from all Europe are working on these topics as well. So, and very specifically speak about natural heritage, these are your, the most closest projects. So I don't know if you have been in the process of seeing the results, but probably also some of those projects are also working with the river-based tourism, for example. I know SVAR is one of such projects, so you can still look at other projects as well, see their good practices. Maybe there's still some learning points that you can also take from these projects that have also been working in the similar domains as the Start Cities. And just some brief strengths of the Start Cities, basically, of course, the topic is high on the EU agenda. That's why you were approved for funding, of course. But yes, we have 56 people with increased capacity. As reported now, I believe there's going to be still some more policy changes. At least I hope to see more policy changes. This is what we as a secretariat always want to see. And what I would particularly like to point out is that you are one of the few projects that have actually 3 pilot actions running. And in Interreg Europe, in the current program, pilot actions are not something standard. These are actually exceptional activities that you had to apply additionally. It was a different evaluation process, and you actually have 3 pilots approved, 3 pilots running, very specific. And we are always very interested to learn about these pilots and how these pilots are generating potential policy changes. And today I'm looking forward to hear more about the pilot implementation. And as you know, in progress reports, we're very, very picky to listen about, okay, what did you do in the pilots? So especially in your case, it's 3 pilots. So congratulations on that. Usually it's one pilot per project, and in many cases we don't even approve pilots because, again, as I said, these are exceptional things. So this is clearly one of the exceptional things of Start Cities. And yes, as I said, you're very active contributors to the good practice database. We have a lot of good practices. 14 of them are approved by thematic experts of Policy Learning Platform and in the database. So you're a good source of learning for other regions in Europe, as a municipalities region, how to develop their riversides. And now I'm going to finish with the facts and figures and some information about the new program or the current program. Basically, we're in a stage where we are still running the projects in the old program, which are finalizing, like Start Cities. And we're going to start new projects beginning of next year in the new program. And if you have been following Interreg Europe, our events that we did, you probably know that we are not speaking about radical changes to the program. It is still the same core program as it was, but there are some evolutionary changes. I'm going to briefly go over them. And I'm not so sure, but probably some of your organizations are have also applied for the first call of the new program. Or if you haven't, probably you're looking for the, let's say, second call. And yes, this is important. We always have to say that everything what I'm showing is not 100% approved because we still need official validation by the future by future monitoring committee. But okay, this is a disclaimer. But basically, these are real figures now. So yes, the good news for Interreg Europe is that the program budget is actually larger for this period than it was previously, even with the Brexit, even with exit of UK from the program and from the European Union. And the budget is bigger, so more chance for new projects, definitely. Yes, 29 countries involved. United Kingdom is now more involved as, let's say, eligible country for funding. You can still involve British partners if they're coming with their own 100% funding, but these are, what happened. And now we have one cross-cutting priority across all projects, across activities, is a capacity building of professionals working in regional development policies, and also capacity building of organizations. So the policy maker organizations and other eligible organizations. So, and yes, the core goal still remains the same. The aim of the Interreg Europe is to improve regional development policies through experience exchange, through defining new good practices, through learning, through exchanging learnings. We want to see that the projects you're implementing are actually contributing to the change of the policies that you have been running, and that these changes can actually be reflected in the funding influence as well. So there's no big change in that. And yes, the program is primarily dedicated to the policymakers at the national, regional, local level. Yes, we still approve that cluster organizations are coming as a partners, universities, etc., but they are not the core target audience of the project. So the core target audience is the public policymaker. And yes, of course, the focus on exchange of experience still remains. So as I said, the core of the program is the same. There are a lot of small changes, some evolutionary changes, but the core is the same. And the program scope is now 6 topics. Smart, green, and social are the big ones, smart green especially. So the idea is that 80% of the funding will go to these priorities, and we see it very well reflected in the first call as well. And we also have, for first time, this cross-cutting horizontal priority governance. So, for example, there can be project on innovative public procurement, which is not probably topic-specific, and we don't expect to have a lot of those projects, but there's an opportunity also to work on that. So it's still the same kind of project that we had now, with similar budgets, with similar activities, but also we can have now these horizontal projects as well. And again, 2 core actions to the program, projects and a policy learning platform. I will not tell about what is the project because you're all part of the project here. You know how it happens, so it's limited for several years, and you're exchanging good practices, you're traveling, hopefully, to each other's regions and learning from each other and defining the policy changes and actually contributing to policy implementation. And the new big change, as I said, is that currently in the current program, we asked you to really work on action plans, to develop the action plans as a core deliverable on the first phase of the project, and then monitor the implementation in the second phase. In the new program, we have this core phase and a follow-up phase, but there is no more need for an action plan. So we have made also some lessons on our side, and we see that the action plans are only going to be small complementary details for those partners who are not able to achieve policy change in the core phase. So in the new program, we actually want to see policy changes already happening in the first 3 years of the project implementation. So no more focus on action plans as the core and then monitoring. So this is probably a big change. And also, as I mentioned, pilots. Also a new change in the new program is that you can apply for the pilots 2 stages in the project implementation lifetime. So either at the application stage or during the midterm review as was currently. So for the new projects as well, and we see there's quite many projects in the first call who actually are already applying to do a pilot, let's say in the second year of the project, not waiting until the end. So it can also be done. These are 2 new changes. And of course, policy learning platform, ever developing service of the program. We are working closely with our thematic experts in different fields who are analyzing your good practices, who are doing a lot of events, online events, topical events, policy briefs. You can contact them. They can arrange matchmaking experience, etc. And what I would like to stress about the policy learning platform is that some of the services the platform offer are not linked to the projects. And here I'm appealing to everybody working in the public policy. That, for example, peer review, which is, I would say, the core service of the platform and the most valuable and most, let's say, intense one, where actually you as a policymaker can come up with a challenge, and the policy learning platform are going to select peers from different European regions and can actually come to your region for 2 days intensive, well, consulting session basically, to help you with your policy instrument. And these are funded by the program. You don't need to compete for this funding, you just apply. It's a very, very simple process. We want to have more regions coming up with requests for the peer reviews. So I would just like to stress it out that you don't need to be linked to the current or the future project. It can happen without link to the project. So really encourage you to use these services. We have been traveling recently to Poland for the peer review, Norway, there's upcoming peer reviews. They are very valuable services. This is basically an Interreg Europe learning activity compressed in 2 days. There's a lot of learning can be done. And yes, and these are the core figures of the first call. So quite a big activity. So we have received 135 project applications, and we are currently very busy in assessing them, evaluating them. Hopefully results are going to be available to all of the people who participated by the end of the year. And then hopefully we can start implementation of the new projects in the beginning of next year. And as you can see, green priority is super popular now. It's logical, of course, with what's currently happening in the world, in Europe, and regarding the energy prices, etc. But this is not just an energy. So green and smart and social, you can see, are really the big topics. And yes, we're gonna launch a second call in next year. There might be a third call and fourth call as well. We don't know that. It depends always on the amount of applications funded, but there's definitely going to be a second call. So if you were not able to submit an application for the first call, if you were looking for the partnerships, so better start doing it already now. There are going to be maybe some slight changes in the call, but basically it's going to be very similar to the current call that we just closed in May. And yes, always you can look for us, Joint Secretariat, for assistance. There are different types of services. Ask for feedback is open when the call is open, but before that you can also use all kind of resources available in our new web pages. Interreg Europe just launched a new web page. There have been some technical issues also with good practices, etc., but it's still a work in process. It's not so easy to create a new database. So yes, look in these resources. And with that, I'm gonna finish. And if you have any questions, and I'm also gonna spend the day with you, so you can also approach me later on as well. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot to Kaunas team for welcoming us again in Kaunas. It was a pleasure 3 years ago, and it's still a pleasure to be here. And thank you, Kristaps, to be here also to represent the GS and to meet us in real for the first time, I think. And I'm very happy to be at this final conference, because I think we have done a great work through Star Cities, and before each partner will present the results of action plan, I will say a few words about the learning activities and the results of the first phase of the project. Okay, so just a reminder, so Star Cities' aim is to work on river tourism development, also through the improvement of regional policies related to natural and cultural heritage. So we are a project of the third call of the previous program, Interreg Europe. And as you will see in the next slide, we are 7 partners representing 5 different regions plus next door network. So this project started in 2018 and will finish next year in 2023. So we had a first phase focused on learning, exchange of experiences, of good practices, etc. And now we are all implementing our regional action plans. Okay, so here is the map of the partners. So as you can see, we are covering a big part of Europe. So it's also one of the interesting aspects of the project to gather partners from really different parts of Europe, from the north, from the east, from the center, etc. And also the Nextdoor network is part of our project as an advisory partner, which is also an opportunity to open this partnership to new regions. For example, in our good practice list, we have good practices from Veneto region or from other countries. So Nextdoor participation is also an opportunity to really spread the message and the learning of Interreg Europe to a bigger part of Europe. So the first thing we have done during the first year of Starcities was to prepare regional assessments to have like a state of play of river tourism development in our 5 cities or 5 regions. And at the end of this state of play, we decided of a thematic program based on those 4 different topics. So the first topic was local and communities, the second one, products and marketing, third one, governance and cooperation, and the last one was environment and sustainability. And we identified for each topic one particular partner which will present good practices, because each partner, each region has strengths and also weaknesses, so we try to connect both. So what we have done, we did study visits in different regions. We did a lot of webinars online when the COVID crisis started. Also, we did a lot of thematic workshops to exchange our different ideas and to do brainstorming sessions on different topics. And through those different learning activities, we started to identify good practices from all the partners and to select them. So we had a very regular process of selection of good practices. So, for example, after each study visit, we voted for which good practices we think could be of inspiration, not only for this region, but for other regions. And that's how we finally selected a lot of good practices. So now I will propose you to see some pictures of the first study visit of the project 3 years ago here in Kaunas. Unfortunately, after this study visit, we had I think 2 years or something like that of gap until the next one. So also you will see on the pictures that this place, this church has changed a lot. So if we don't have the music, maybe I can comment a little bit. So as you can see, we have done a lot of boat trips during the different study visits. And also we came here in the church by boat. So here you can see that this place was quite different. And I think we don't see the outside, but it was all with a lot of machines, etc., doing the facilities. So here is one of the good practices that were presented, the stuba. A place for communities with a lot of activities. And we also had stories of the river during the boat trip. Then we went to Klautuva resort to also speak about architecture and history. And here we are in the Kaunas 2022 office. And we did a tour through Kaunas city to also discover some good practices related to locals and communities, and also architecture. So here is an example of the community program also. So you can find all these good practices published on the Star Cities website, and some of them have been selected to be on the policy learning platform of Interreg Europe. So I really invite you to see also the next study visits videos we have on the YouTube channel. Okay, so I will try to be fast in the next slides, but I would like to give an idea of the different good practices we identified in each topic. As I said, the first topic was locals and communities, and Kaunas was a great contributor on this topic. So, for example, we learned a lot about the Fluxus Labs project, which is a community program involving a lot of local people, also artists, etc. So a lot of activities during the past year, and I think also this year. I think the Fluxus Labs festival is happening in 2 days. Yes, exactly. So here was one of the examples. Then we talked about products and marketing, and for example, we proposed as a good practice a booking platform that we developed it in Paris region. So not only Paris center, but really the metropolis of Paris, and it is a collaborative platform. Created by different organizations, so Paris Tourism Office with the tourism boards of all the outside, let's say, but the closer outside of Paris. And this platform is really a huge tool for us to promote activities in less known places or less known topics. When you are thinking about Paris, of course, you think about the Eiffel Tower, but there is so much things to discover, and this booking platform is really a good tool for this. And of course, river tourism activities are a big part of it during the summer and spring also. Then we talked a lot about governance and cooperation. I think it was also a first topic that we always are speaking about that. And one of the good practices we discovered in this topic was from Hamburg, from Germany. It is the Kurshelbe project, which is a partnership between different DMOs along the River Helbe that are developing a lot of activities together, also marketing activities. And this partnership was of inspiration, for example, for us also in Val-de-Marne. And last topic was environment and sustainability. And Ljubljana was the main actor in this topic. So, for example, one of the good practices identified was the green scheme of Slovenian tourism, which is a national tool to help all types of tourism stakeholders to improve their activities in terms of sustainability. So it's a national tool, but that can be adapted at a different level and was of inspiration for us. So all in all, you can here see the main figures and results of the first phase. So we have identified 34 good practices, and already 14 are published on the Interreg Europe policy learning platform. I think, Christophe, you already spoke about the people with increased capacity. Also, I said we spend a lot of time on thematic workshops, and we try to summarize the learning of those workshops through 24 challenges for river tourism development. Those challenges could be also like recommendations for the future. And so the good practices and challenges are all presented in the good practice guide of Star Cities, which have been published in English and also in all the national languages of partners to be a tool for stakeholders. And I have to say that, for example, I was contacted by a region from the south of France because they said that our good practices guide was really a tool for them. So I was very happy to hear that. And also, of course, we used those good practices and ideas to build our regional action plans. So our 5 action plans were approved at the end of 2021, and we are now implementing them. And as you already know, 3 actions among all the actions of the action plans have been approved as pilot actions and are financed by Interreg Europe, which is really a big help for us, because those actions wouldn't have been possible without this funding. So thank you, Interreg Europe, again. Sorry. And that's all for me. So I have to say thank you and congratulations for everybody for this first phase. And now we will think and speak about the implementation of action plans.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ramena Puikytė, and I represent today, as Vilta told already, the Let's Celebrate the Rivers initiative in Kaunas, and also Kaunas 2022 recently implemented pilot action. I will briefly introduce about this. Kaunas 2022 is a partner of the Star Cities project and the Interreg Europe program funding, and Kaunas team started this project addressing the new policy instrument, Kaunas City strategic document, culture strategy for 2017-27 period. And this is the main strategic document for the now running project of Kaunas European Capital of Culture for 2022. So Kaunas team developed the action plan based on this instrument, and with the idea that to develop something, a new project. In our case, it's the organization of the River Festival in Kaunas, and this action was approved later as a pilot action, learning from good practices from partner countries of this project, river practices, and the policy change in this case is considered by implementing this new project. So we're inspired by the French practice L'été du Canal festival, Summer in the Canals Festival, which is organized each summer. And we had a 4 days study visit in Paris, visiting these best examples, the Summer in the Canals Festival, and also which is organized in Saint-Denis department, and also visited Val-de-Marne department. They are organizing Marne River tour, and also learned more good practices as the Odyssey project in Paris. So we're learning about the budgeting, meeting with the stakeholders, organizers, also went by bicycles along the canals and rivers, observing these places where the festival is taking place. And so, very rich program and very valuable. Thank you very much for this. So our river festival in Kaunas took place this year in May 21st. And it was organized during the grand opening year of European Capital of Culture, Kaunas, and was supported and funded by Kaunas City Municipality in line with this new strategic document, Culture Strategy, and also funded by Interreg Europe program. Thank you very much. So we have two biggest Lithuanian rivers in Kaunas and the confluence of them, the Nemunas and Neris rivers. So we invited the local communities and local people, cultural organizations to develop together the cultural routes for this river festival on both rivers, and Nemunas and Neris. So we had two routes. And Nemunas has quite a good infrastructure on the riverbank, so we also organized a bicycle tour. Our today guide was also the guide of this bicycle route that day. We had also for the cultural route for Neris River, and the main vehicle was water, of course, kayaks, canoes, rafts, and so paddling. But also on Neris River, we had orienteering game. It was quite exciting, quite new for us. We didn't have till then in such orienteering game when you are paddling. So we had 2 starts, 2 finishes, and 8 culture stops, music going along the river, floating concerts, and on the stops people could have sports, culture activities, workshops, stage performances. So a lot was, and these are the numbers, so 8 cultural stops with all these activities, more than 50 institutions, organizations, professional artists and amateur artists and young artists and local communities, local businesses, and such creators, citizens, local citizens were involved to develop this program. So I will try to, Bible will help, a short video of this event. It's not working with music, so I will tell a little bit that in the starts of these 2 routes, local communities were also giving us something, sharing their local community spirit, sharing with what they have when they took the starts, and in the stops people could also draw, paint, and plein airs, take part in the plein airs, and a lot. And we had also not local people, also the city hosts also taking part in this event. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we invite you to think about coming to Kaunas to this river festival next year. So some pictures. About 1,000 participants took part going along the rivers, on riverbanks. Also, people on foot, by bicycles could come to the stops and just take part at these small events happening on riverbanks. And the most important for the river festival is community engagement. This is like an invitation to develop the program together with local communities and local people to find them new relations by themselves with the river, Nemunas or Neris, where they live or maybe work or create on these banks. We invited a lot of people and organizations, and the main purpose was to experience the rivers of the city, to invite people to experience the city of the river through cultural routes in the water and in the riverbanks, and build new connections, and sharing music, sharing what the community spirit, sharing professional stage performances, everything. A lot of activities. And this is the banner of the event. I think it shows very good that you can choose whatever you want to do at the river. And we started to engage community quite early, organizing workshops of preparation for the festival. So during these workshops, about 200 participants took part in drawing Kainabara kites. We then later, during the festival, we put them on the river banks. It's like a symbol of this festival. And also invited to make themselves their rafts that could be later used during the summertime, traveling, or like concert platforms, new platforms. We had a very nice also follow-up. It's like was organized like after party. It's also part of the community engagement. We had a floating concert. These musicians built the raft for themselves and just put their all equipment, and we had the good music. We went by kayaks and saw the sunset going down, so very good experience for the community. Those people who were involved directly preparing the program and took active part. And that's it about this river festival. And in short, we have, as an initiative of Let's Celebrate the Rivers, we invite people during the summertime also, organized a festival which Piešiame Nemuną, we'll be drawing Nemunas. We organized a one-day plein air in different parts of riverbanks of Nemunas. It's also outside Kaunas city, so building new connections, strengthening connections through creative activities of local communities. So, and that's it. And our plan is also a planning for the next year to extend this river festival. That it was organized each year. In May, it is the celebration of Kaunas city birthday. So we invite people to celebrate Kaunas birthday from the rivers, to party on the riverbanks, where, as we see, Kaunas city was established and developed because of the rivers. So it's good opportunity to celebrate birthday with the rivers. So also looking for opportunities, making some floating new culture platforms, as Nemunas and Neris, only a small part is navigable in the city, by boats, by ships. So we are looking for a new type of and creating some culture platforms that could be used for concerts.
So now I will speak about one of our 2 actions of our action plan, and you will see that it's quite similar with the Let's Celebrate the River event in Kaunas we just discovered. So one of our actions was the organization of the Marne River Tour, thanks to the financement of Interreg Europe as a pilot action. And I will also talk a little bit about the communication strategy. Okay, so to put the context, first, this event, as other projects we are organizing, is organized as a partnership under the partnership in French, it's Cap sur la Marne. So we are 4 different destination management organizations working along the Marne River. The project perimeter area is 50 kilometers long, 50 kilometers of rivers along the Marne, 30 towns, etc. So it's very important because all the projects I will present would not have been possible just organized by one organization. So it's possible because we are joining forces to do that. And for those who don't know at all Val-de-Marne and Marne River, we are really close to Paris, as you can see on the map. The Marne River is joining the Seine River at the confluence just at the doors of Paris, so it's very close. And still, as you will see, we have very beautiful landscapes, natural, and also with a lot of natural and cultural heritage. So the Marne River Tour is the last of our project, but we did other projects before, in particular thanks to funding from our regional of our region, Île-de-France region. So, for example, we did a lot of activities, tourism activities, also in 2021, and that's also because of those first activities that we decided to create like a new brand about the Marne River to promote the action we are implementing together with those 4 different DMOs. So what is the Marne River Tour? So first, the name Marne River Tour is the application name we put it in Interreg Europe application, but the name in French is La Grande Aventure, which means something like the great adventure along the Marne River. We wanted to emphasize on the sport aspect and the active aspect of the event. So this event is inspired by the Tiber Tour, which is also an annual event organized through Lazio region along the Tiber River, crossing Rome, of course. And we also took inspiration from the event Romena just presented in Kaunas. So we started the organization last autumn, and it was also sportive to organize everything in 6 months, but we did it, and the first edition took place in June 2022. So we had 66,000 euros of total budget for this event, which is for us a big budget, and it allows us to do things that we can't do usually with our own budget. So what is a Marne River Tour? You will see it on the video. It was different river routes organized during 2 days. So on the Saturday and the Sunday, participants can choose to participate through hiking, cycling, or canoeing. And all the 3 different river routes gather at the end of the day at an ending point where people can relax, have drinks or snacks, etc., and also festive activities. Also, it's not just about sport, it's also about culture. So each river route is punctuated by cultural stops with guides talking about the history of the rivers, the cultural heritage, natural heritage, or presenting particular projects or different aspects of the territory, and it's very important. And also, we created this event during 2 days, so we invited people to do like a journey through the Marne during the weekend with the possibility to camp on the Saturday night at the arrival of the river routes on the Saturday. So for those that, for the small people that camp, it was really an adventure. And so you will have some impressions in the video. So you will see some of our landscapes. So here is the starting of the day. So you can see that we are giving participants a workbook and also and then they are gathered into groups. So depending of the sport, so hiking, cycling, or paddling, the number of participants in groups were different. For example, for hiking participants, there were about 40 people together in group. For cycling, it was like 20 people, and 15 for the paddling people. So here you can see some of the cultural stops. For example, we had stops in a museum, a contemporary art center. And I can send you the video if you want. You can put the translated subtitles to have also the presentations and some impressions from the participants. So also for the paddling route, they crossed this place, which is part of the Olympic Games 2024 site. So it was very exciting for the participants to see this place. You can see that some parts were very natural. And at the end of each day, we also had artistic performances just before the arrival, and it was very pleasant to see participants joining by walking, by cycling, by paddling, arriving at the same place with also the artists, and the possibility to relax, as you can see, to have a drink, etc. So the idea is to try to do another edition, not next year, but in 2024. The concept of the event is to be biannual, and so the next edition should be close to the Olympic Games in Paris. So of course, as you can imagine, we will try to do something with that. Now I think you have a good picture of the format, etc. Here are some results. So we welcomed 700 participants during the 2 days As you can see, most of us were hiking participants, but we also had great success with the canoe, which was full for the registration, so we had a big demand on canoe. The different river routes crossed 22 towns, which is also a lot, and we had 28 super adventurers that did the 2 days and the camping, and also part of the team. Who are all those people? They are from the region, from Île-de-France region. It is like 80% from the region. But what is good for us is that it's a younger public that we had in previous events that we already organized. So it's like a new target for us, which is a good thing. And they came with their family, but mainly with friends and also alone. We had a lot of people alone, but of course they met a lot of people during the trip. Also some results in terms of organization. So we were 9 people organizing this event. And as I said, in 6 months it was quite challenging. We also needed a lot of help from sporting partners. So we worked a lot with the clubs and federations of hiking, cycling and paddling that took care of the participants during the day. So each group was supervised by volunteers from the sporting clubs, etc. And at the end we had 90 volunteers involved, which is a lot, as you can imagine. Also, we had more than 30 guides and people doing cultural stops, and also artists. And we were very lucky with the weather. I think it was not the case for Kaunas. So, as you have seen on the video, Sun was also a participant. And that's all for me, so thank you.
I'm here with my colleague Elisabetta Romano from the City of Rome to introduce our action plan results. And I know that the time is we are a bit late, but I'll try to catch up. What about our project? So just to sum up, we are Lazio region and the City of Rome. So the Lazio region is the region of Rome, and our project target was the Tiber River in Rome and in Lazio. We are talking about a 405 kilometers river stretching on 3 different regions, central regions in Italy, and with something like 56 municipalities crossed by this river and 60 kilometers of urbanized fluvial stretches. And so basically we are talking about one of the most important river in Italy. And what is been, let's say, caught during the implementation of Star Cities project, it was a phenomenon of the new initiatives organized by local residents concerning the river amenities and, let's say, usage. During the last 4 or 5 years, we have seen the increasing number of activities organized, for instance, like Tevere Day. We have seen just last few months ago, Fiumicino Paddling Festival, Discesa Internazionale del Tevere, which is the Tiber Tour, which inspired the good practice of Val de Marna, and other initiatives. This was very important for us because as institutions, we were starting to organize our initiatives in order to search a sort of model of coordinating this kind of events. Let's say that we have done this partly already, using a model of river contracts, which is our management model drawn from the Contrat de Rivière in France to manage the rivers with locals, with residents, with people, but not to manage the tourism. So we were missing, let's say, somehow, a model for managing river tourism in the Lazio region and in Rome. As you can see, there are other stories we have collected during the Star Cities implementation project. These are some spots we have seen during our study tours in Lazio and in Rome. But as I was saying before, we were missing, let's say, a governance and management of river tourism, actually. So the Star Cities project was very, very important for us because it provided us with some new models we could use in order to improve our capacity to intervene in these events, to coordinate somehow. And I'm not saying that we are cut out of initiatives in tourist sector. Of course, both the Lazio region and the city of Rome have been organizing, let's say, tourism management, but using more, let's say, promotional models, marketing models, more than management and governance models. So what we were missing, we were a new modern model of governing the river tourism. So we took attention to some of our partners' good practices, especially focusing on the DMO, Destination Management Organizations, which are a model, represent a model which was lacking in Lazio region. So Lazio region decided through the regional tourist agency, to launch a call to finance new DMOs in the Lazio region. And this happened in 2021 with 4.5 million euros to start up new DMOs in the Lazio region. We finally founded 25 new DMOs in all the regional territory, including, and this is very important, coming from the Star Cities project, including areas which are the valley areas of rivers, mainly the Tiber Valley and the middle valley of Anion River. This means that we wanted to coordinate the creation of new DMOs, but also to indicate target areas where to implement these DMOs. So among the other areas, of course, this long call for proposal concerned all the areas of quite a big region in Italy. Two of the areas were on the rivers. What happened is that following this launch for call of proposals, we finally founded, as I said, 25 new proposals, 25 new projects of DMOs, and 3 of them were targeted on river tourism. Tevere Day, DMO Tevere Mare a Trattori, which was promoted by the Municipality 9 Euro of Rome, which is partner of course of Star City project, and Comunità Montana dell'Aniene. The total amount of money allocated to these 3 new DMOs targeted on river tourism was €500,000 euros. And they are running for 1 year time in order then to, go on with other self-funding and other public funding. So the municipality 9 euro inspiration from a DMO on Tiber River was basically from the management river tourism of Valdemar, which Camilla has perfectly represented before, so I don't have to do it again to save time. But of course, they have all been organizing this management of river tourism through the creation of interconnected DMOs, which are acting with, let's say, a vision in a way. And so what we are trying to do through these DMOs we have funded, as Lazio region and the Municipality 9, is to start from the bottom. So we have now 3 new DMOs targeted on rivers, and basically what we want to do is to create a regional DMO, which will be like, say, the cabin of, organizing the territorial tourism, especially in the rivers. So Now I leave the floor to Elisabetta to present the one of these DMOs that they are participating as municipality, which has won the launch of call for proposals of the Lazio region, and which is actually starting their activities. Elisabetta.
Thank you. Hello everybody, I'm from Roma team, and I'm from Municipality 9 of Rome. Rome is divided in 15 administrative bodies, and Municipality 9 is one of these bodies. The Tiber crosses the territory of our municipality for 14 kilometers, then cross the municipality 10, and then arrived to the sea. This point of arrive is very important because there is an ancient city, Ostia, an ancient Roman city, and now you can visit an interesting archaeological area and the ancient port of Triumph. Now, with all people now come in Rome to visit its monument, its ancient and fascinating heritage, cultural and historical, but not to visit the river. Our goal now is to involve the river in the way of tourism in Rome. And Star Cities project and the new DMO, the establishment this year of our DMO, our pilot, our action plan in the Star Cities project is very important because we have involved about
50
public body and private association. The goal is to make a link between internal area and the ancient city of Rome and the new city of Rome with the river until the coastal areas. So the partner of our TMO are coastal cities, internal cities, and private association into the basin of Tiber. And you can see in this slide 3 of elements on which is our work of DMO. Main goal, specific objective, and tools. Main goal, I saw create a link between the coast. This is very important. Second one, tourism development on the target area, new target area, creation of distinctive and original tourism destination, a different way to come in Rome to involve the Tiber, the river, and to promoting innovation, sustainability, and also accessibility to the bank. Because in the Municipality 9, the bank is not built, but natural. So we can make a new way to come in our city. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you about what we are doing in Hamburg Metropolitan Region, and I'm going to start out with some, there? Hello? There. With some facts about the region that we are talking about, because I think it differs from your regions because it's much, much bigger. Hamburg Metropolitan Region, and we have the River Elbe in the midst of our region, as you can see, and our region is composed of 4 federal states. In the middle, there's the city of Hamburg. We have 5 million inhabitants, and Hamburg has almost 2 million alone, and we have 272 kilometers of river Elbe in this region. So you can imagine it's not really easy to govern it or to market it, and so it's a very huge region. And yeah, I have to point there just some impressions so that you know what we are talking about. Many of you have been to Hamburg this year, so this was great that this could happen finally after 2 years of delay, that you could all come to Hamburg. And so we are the busy international port. The city of Hamburg, of course, has the 3rd biggest port in Europe, and Hamburg itself is a tourism hotspot. You see that the Elbe water, and so it's very busy there also. We have industrial heritage and maritime culture. You saw this too when we were visiting our port museum. And we also had the former German border to the east of Hamburg, where the Elbe used to be actually the Iron Curtain, which makes that region really special. And but also you can see that we have a lot of space, basically, and the Elbe is outside of Hamburg, but also in Hamburg, very green and offers a lot of place for activities by and on the water, for cycling, on unspoiled landscapes and nature and tranquility. So it's a large area where you can find basically everything, and we have a very diversified touristic product. So when the colleagues from Rome and Lazio are talking about we don't have DMOs, we don't have boats, and we have all this, but still we feel that we can do better, of course, and also because we have a high pressure on our touristic regions. As you can see, can I go back? When I show you the region, hang on, there, you can see that we have the coast, the Baltic Sea and the North Sea, but mainly the Baltic Sea coast. The colleagues there say, please, no more marketing. We are so overcrowded, we can't take any more people, maybe in January or February, but the end, for the rest of the year, we are really, leave us alone, so to speak. So, but we have areas, and the Elbe is part of this, where we can still take more people, basically. But I wanted to go back one. No, here. But you can see that our destination management is, of course, very fragmented. As I said, 4 federal states, and each district along the Elbe has their own destination management organization. One exception is Jens, who's sitting there from the Kurs Elbe project, which is one of our good practices. He has managed to at least bring 5 of them together to work together, and they have worked together on infrastructure development, but now they are still working, to get together on marketing issues. And but still, this is ask Jens later on. It's hard work to keep them all together and to bring them to work together. And we, of course, in the middle, we are from the metropolitan region. We don't really have, the authority to tell any of these DMO what to do. So, so this is our situation, basically. The Elbe, which is a great asset that we have, but which is, we feel, touristically underdeveloped. Well, at least in many regions it could take more tourism, but we also have nature preservation areas there, so it's a conflict. On the other hand, we have the natural federal waterway, which is also a conflict with tourism, so it's not easy. But and we have, of course, a big pressure of 2 million Hamburg people who want to spend the weekends somewhere in the region and to go out. So the river tourism management, as I said, is very fragmented. And if there is any river tourism management, I have to say, the city of Hamburg, Hamburg Tourism, which is almost always lacking in our meetings, which tells you that they don't really have much interest in projects like these, because they think everything is running smoothly in Hamburg. Numbers are always going up again now after COVID. The number of tourists are rising again. So So Hamburg tourism doesn't have a river tourism strategy. The Elbe is just, they take it where it fits into their other strategies, and the offer, as I said, is well developed, and but the tourism flows are spread really unevenly. Many of you have been with us to the Old Country, the fruit orchard area with Monica, our stakeholder, and there on the weekends it's so overcrowded and so many people come with their own cars that many of these little towns are really fed up with tourists, or with mainly with the cars and the traffic that all the tourism or the day trippers bring to the area. So, and also then there are other areas that could take more people but which are also very badly connected to Hamburg. So there are no public transport or no good public transport. So this is actually our situation, and we as Star Cities, we discovered that things can be done differently, of course, by all your good practices, and we were inspired by the Vltava River, which was a next to a good practice from Czechoslovakia. They presented us with a river strategy, and they said, okay, we are developing the river together with the DMOs along the river, and we have created some sort of a brand, and they said that this is quite a good way to promote the river together and to develop the river tourism together. So this was one good practice that inspired us, and also, of course, the Marne River DMO. They have a joint action plan, which is much more than we have. Jens only represents one side of the Elbe from Hamburg, and the other side is, it's very different, and so there is no real connection. And so we decided, okay, we would like to bring the Elbe together more and to develop tourism together. And I must say this, that the Star City project was probably the first time, or maybe not the first time, but we have connected the DMOs from both sides of the Elbe. Jens, maybe correct me, I don't think you have talked much with Monica from the other side of Hamburg before. So this is one really positive effect, that we have brought people together to speak about the Elbe River, which people who haven't been sitting together on a regular basis. So our stakeholder meetings, we have brought them together, and our wish is that we could establish something like a development strategy for the river. So, and our way to achieve this is that we have just started last year. We have started a process which was initiated by the OECD, actually, who looked at our region and said, "Oh, you are so fragmented. You should work together better." And we have, in the field of tourism, we have started a tourism development concept, which will be finished next year. So this is why I can't really report any results yet. We're right in the middle of this process. This concept will be for all of Hamburg metropolitan region, not just the Elbe River. And we expect this to be then the new strategic framework for our touristic cooperation in Hamburg metropolitan region. And we hope that we manage to implement the Elbe into this concept, so that we will have some basis to work for our future cooperation along the Elbe, and to deepen this future cooperation. Oops. So the current status is that we have had an intensive analysis of our region, the strengths and weaknesses, the usual SWOT analysis, and it confirms, of course, that water and outdoor and cycling, the Elbe cycle path, which runs along the Elbe, offer great opportunities. Also walking to some extent in our region. Mobility, connectivity is a big issue, maybe the biggest issue that we have in tourism in our region, that we have to solve somehow, because, as I said, the tourism flows, connectivities, too many cars, regions who say, please, no more. We don't want any more tourists, and we don't know how to, and the traffic jams on the motorways on the weekends. So it's a really big issue that we have to solve. And of course, another big issue is sustainability. which is for all, I think the DMO colleagues will confirm this, is a big issue for everyone now in tourism. So this will also be a leading principle for us, I think will be sustainability. So, but the next steps, and there's a meeting today actually about this, is that we have developed 8 fields of action for the touristic development, and today they are discussing some project proposals from our consultant. So we have had several meetings together with there are like 35 stakeholders in Hamburg metropolitan region, and we have a working group, and we have met several times and smaller, of course also in a smaller group, and today they are discussing the first proposals of strategic projects that we want to do actually over the next years, in order to also not just have a strategic concept for, to put in your cupboard and forget about it, but we want to do something. And we hope, of course, that the Elbe River might be a pilot region to try out, for example, some mobility projects, but we don't know yet. We will know more by the end of the year, unfortunately. I can't really report anything more than this. And Christoph, you said we also have a pilot action. I didn't put anything on this on the slides. Maybe I can add that we are at the moment, our pilot action is was influenced by the Water Museum of Venice, the next to good practice, and we have had this Festival of Industrial Heritage for 10 years in Hamburg metropolitan region. And we want to develop this festival into more, we call it museum. It's more like a working title, but we want to establish attractive digital offer. So at the moment we are starting to rebuild our websites. 2 days ago we had a film team in 2 towns along the Elbe, in Geesthacht and Lauenburg. Lauenburg, also know and Geesthacht, also the French team also knows Geesthacht, where they have industrial heritage roots. And we are filming them now and integrating the films on the website, and they can also be used for social media, where film is also very important. So this is what we're doing there, and also we will do a podcast and some other measures. So this is also underway, but not yet finished. So maybe this is for you to know what we're doing there. Okay, thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Katja Butina. I come from Regional Development Agency of Ljubljana Urban Region from Slovenia. For a little presentation, this is Slovenia and our central region. Our agency united 25 municipalities, territory of a little over 2,000 kilometers. We have population 505,000, and in Ljubljana and her surrounding 300,000. Our project area, we have 3 zones. The first one, the blue one, is the river Ljubljanica. The second zone of the project area is Ljubljansko barje and some surroundings. And the third zone are all the municipalities which lie in the Ljubljansko barje, Ljubljana Marshes Nature Park. So for some parts we also, the all municipalities, not just the nature park, was our project area. Some introduction. As you already probably know, Ljubljana is one of the smallest European capitals. Our river, Ljubljanica, it has really nice bridges and picturesque old city center embankments, which are one of the Ljubljana's most notable landmarks. The river of Ljubljanica, before she reaches the city Ljubljana, the up picture, runs across Ljubljana Marsh Nature Park, which is a protected wetland and a nature site 2000, the down picture. Our agency unites 25 municipalities. Ljubljanica flows through 4 municipalities, and 7 of them are in the area of Ljubljana Marsh Nature Park. Selected study zone area covers around 27.8 square kilometers. Like I said, 7 municipalities. And a large share of our Zone 3 study area is Ljubljana Marsh Nature Park, which is about 160 kilometers. Maybe some pictures about our river landscape. On this slide, you can see some photos of river in the city center. So the center of Ljubljana, the river landscape is urbanized. In some parts of municipality of Vrhnika and Podpeć, the river land is partly urbanized, and the other parts of study area, especially within the Ljubljana marshes, are nature parts. So here's some pictures how it is. No. Just maybe some words about the history of the river. The left photo is Ljubljanica today. The left down photo, you can see the prehistoric pile dwellings. This area of nature park was also in Neolithic. People lived there in villages like this. In municipality of Ig, we prepared a few years ago a project for UNESCO partnership of this prehistoric pile dwellings. You can see in the middle how it looks like in 1957. This is a beach for swimming at Špica. Maybe I can show you how it looks Špica today. The right bottom picture is Špica today, and how it was when people could swim. Now swimming is not possible in the river. Right up, some regulation and deepening of the riverbed, and traditional boating games at Špica in 1905. Based on Star City's activities and workshops, seminars, good practices, and also other activities, and our stakeholders meeting during the first phase of project, we put 2 actions in our action plan. First action is preparation of contents and necessary documentation for the establishment of the main entry point in the Ljubljansko Barje Nature Park. We will prepare the documentation for the spatial plan for the municipality. I will talk about this later. Also, the phase 2 of this project, the establishment of this new main entry point is one of the priority regional projects in regional development plan for the year 2021-2027. And the other action, which we find out through the project, that is really important because we don't have any strategy of the river. No, the rivers are not included in any of our strategies. So as Tourism of Ljubljana is preparing the new tourism strategy for the whole region, this will be the first strategy for the region. Usually we have strategies for municipalities and for national strategy for 2023 and 2027. And we see the opportunity that we can include also the river tourism management and marketing in this new strategy. Of course, both actions was inspired by good practices of other partners. So for action 1, we got inspired by 3 good practices. The first one is Water Museum Venice and Kurs Elbe Joint Strategy and Hoyt Hill Nature Park. And for action 2, joint action plan implemented by Marne River and the Vltava River experience from next door partner. I will not present all these good practices, but they really help to put our action plan together. So the first action, preparation of context and necessary documentation. The main point which we succeed in during the Star City stakeholders meetings is that all 7 mayors of municipalities which lie in Ljubljansko-Barje Nature Park got consensus at one of our stakeholder meetings, and they agreed that Rakova Jelša, this is one part of Ljubljana, which connects urban part with the nature park, I will tell more later, that this would be the best choice for new entry point. The first steps will be preparation of contents and necessary documentation needed for a project assignment of the municipal detailed spatial plan competition, and later, on a later stage, they will also establish this main entry point. Park also had some more local entry points, but we need one main entry point that we can connect all these other points. And the location is walking distance from a new thematic trail. It's near Park and Ride area, and it's about 800 meters from Ljubljanica River, where is planned a new marina and a new dock to be also built and connect park also by water. Here is the picture of municipal detailed spatial plan for this area. This blue is the area for the new entry point. Here is place for marina and new dock. This is river Ljubljanica. Here is new thematic path, and this is highway through Ljubljana. And on this part is Park and Ride area, so it really connects everything to be a main entry point. Oops. This is a map of the whole Ljubljansko-Barje Nature Park. You can see we also have, here is one entry point, here is one entry point, here and 2 here. And this, now I don't know where. Sorry. And here is the place for a new entry point. This is a sketch from Ljubljansko-Barje Nature Park. They are also planning to have 2 buildings for them in a thematic park, but we'll see how at the end will look like. About implementation, the city of Ljubljana is in charge for this action. The action should be finished by spring 2023. For now, we have several meetings with key stakeholders, several meetings about 2 main actors. This is city of Ljubljana and Ljubljansko-Barje Nature Park. Like I said, one of the big steps forward is consensus among all 7 mayors in the area, and they finished investment project identification documents, which have all the things that they need to go on. A few words also about our action 2, inclusion of the river tourism management and marketing in the new tourism strategy for the region. Like I said, we do not have any joint strategy for Ljubljanica tourism development or also for other rivers in region. And most of valid strategic documents in the region do not address the issue of river tourism directly. We think that rivers should have a special place, so we will try to include, and we are already connected with Tourism Ljubljana and helping the strategy to include river tourism also in this new strategy. What was done? They had some regional consultation and meetings with key stakeholders. They prepare state of play analysis. They have 19 interviews on field, visited 20 touristic points, 14 online questionnaires, and they are preparing now analytical part of the strategy, formulating key strategic goals, and in October they are planning first strategic workshop for the implementation of new strategy. Strategy should be done by the end of the year. I hope it will be, we'll see. Thank you.